thank you for the music. I felt like a little boy again. Because we used to sing that, Hand in Hand with Angels, in the Lyceum when I was a child. And it's lovely, isn't it? I mean, that line, one electric love chord, it's wonderful. And it's amazing, really, the way these things slot in, because I was going to be talking about life this morning. And what was the first hymn we had? Leslie didn't know what I was going to be talking about. So it's marvelous the way the Spirit works. It's marvelous the way our minds work. And there's a saying, you know, two men looked out from behind prison bars. One saw mud, and the other saw stars. It's all a matter of the attitude of mind. This life is a wonderful adventure if we choose to make it so. I believe it's a wonderful adventure whether we choose to make it so or not. But if we look at it in that way, as an adventure, and that there are ups and downs, but that very often we learn far more during the downs than we do during the ups. And certainly, if the ups mean climbing, it's during the downs that we get the energy to climb. It's like the young man who, when he became about 16 or 17, his father told him it was time for him to learn to climb the mountains that were near where they lived. And his father said, now, I'm going to take you to the foot of the mountain, and I want you to make your way up. It'll take me ages, Dad. That's all right. You do it. I'll be waiting for you at the top, he said. So up the young man goes, and he gets quarter of the way up, and he's been slipping and sliding, and his knees are all grazed, and he's got the view of his father up there waiting, and so he keeps on trying. And about halfway up, it's nightfall, so he's got to find somewhere to spend the night. And he looks around, and he finds a sheltered spot there, and he settles down for the night. And then next day he continues the climb, and he's still finding it very, very hard work. It's really, really strenuous, and he keeps on slipping, and he's got cuts and abrasions everywhere. But eventually he reaches the top, and there's his father. And his father says, well done, son, you've done very, very well. Now you've got to go and climb that one. The next one, I can't do that, Dad, I'm exhausted. Yeah, you can do it, he said, you can do it. But it's steeper than this one. That's all right, don't worry, you'll be all right, and I'll be waiting for you at the top. So he goes down the first mountain and starts climbing the second one. And, you know, he was surprised. He said, I don't know, this mountain doesn't seem to be as steep as it looked when I was looking at it from the other side. And he was making much better progress up this mountain, much, much better progress. And he didn't have to stop halfway this time. He made it to the top just before nightfall. And there was his father there. And he said, well done, son. He said, the young man said, Dad, I want to thank you for giving me an easier mountain to climb this time, because that first one, oh God, he said, it was terrible. And his father said, son, the second mountain was steeper than the first. It's just that you were stronger as a result of climbing the first one, so you found the second one easier to climb. And isn't that true of our lives? That when we first set out on something, it seems to be so difficult. But if we have a chance to do it again, then suddenly things seem to slot into place much, much, much more easily. And I guess the old adage of practice makes perfect is appropriate there. And this is life. If we can only develop the positive attitude of mind, the one that sees the stars rather than seeing the mud, then we will be in the right frame of mind to meet every challenge. You see, I happen to believe that we are here because we choose to be here. I don't mean in this building, I mean in this life. We choose to be here, and therefore we must have had a fairly good idea where we were, what we were going to have to face when we got here. I don't believe we knew it in detail, but we had a pretty good idea. And therefore, we must have had a good reason for choosing, because we came from a marvelous place. So why subject ourselves to all this if there isn't a good purpose? Now, that's interesting. I said, subject ourselves to all this. Now, that's a very negative way of looking at it, isn't it? If I'd have said, well, we lived in a wonderful place, but we could see how marvelous the earth was, and how beautiful all the colours were, and how nice it was to be able to mix with all different people from everywhere. That puts a different view on it, doesn't it? Makes you realize that there are lots of things to look for. I mentioned on Wednesday night that we'd seen a rainbow when we were driving along. And I wondered how many people driving had actually seen that rainbow, and how many of them were so set on getting to where they were going and very upset about being held up in the traffic that they never noticed anything that was going on around them.